In fact, in some cities, evictions are up as much as 35%. And this data is from Princeton University. Now get this equation. As rents went up by 30%, evictions went up by 30%. What a coincidence.
The cost of living is just out of control. I don't know how much longer I can do it. It's just insanity.
What's the matter? Too scared to work 168 hours at the factory?
Oh man.
Work at the factory, that's what I did.
Alright, today's video we got an interesting one. We are talking about the cost of living being so high people can't even afford their daily necessities. And everyone knows inflation, right, continues to rise time and time again. But when wages and things like that really don't match, the inflation, what happens? You have a lot of people that begin to struggle. And especially with things like credit card debt and just people's spending habits in general. Man, life is getting tough for a lot of people out there. So let's check this out and see what these people have to say.
So let me chime in on how people are making it right now in America with inflation at an all-time high. People that are making $35 an hour, $40 an hour are still broke. So you wonder, am I the only one feeling this? I know you guys are driving around in your city seeing people still at the grocery stores, still in the fast food lines, still acting as everything is normal. But there's one thing that, if you haven't noticed, people are not using their money to survive right now. They're using credit cards. And if you look at America's credit card usage right now, it is at an all-time high. Most families are already maxed out. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that's gonna send everything into let's say a bad spot. They're not gonna pay these credit cards back. They're spending knowing that they're not gonna pay these credit cards back. And so now that these people's credit cards are maxed out and credit companies are no longer giving them money to survive and buy their food, because we don't have any help in our food. If you make money like I make money, you go to that grocery store, or your wife goes, because I haven't been in that grocery store in I don't know how long, but my wife goes to the grocery store. And if we don't spend $600 or $700 on a grocery trip, I'm surprised. But I'm
6 or 7. That sounds like a lot. 600 or 700. I mean, I wonder where they're shopping, because I don't know. Maybe they're buying in bulk and it's for a longer period of time, but that does seem like that's pretty high.
My situation is different. I have a lot of kids, but you wonder how people are making it out here, and they are not making it off their own money. Plus, let's put the other thing in perspective. You have the government saying that job numbers are through the roof. They have created so many jobs and people are taking these jobs, and that's not true. The fact of the matter is, people are taking on second jobs and third jobs just to put food on the table for their family. Mind you, in the richest country in the world, something's not right. If you are somebody out there surviving right now, taking care of your kids, and your money's going up, I salute you. But 99% of people right now, their pockets are suffering badly, to the point where the government even said that by the end of this month, most likely 99% of Americans will have run out of any savings. Wow. This is crazy.
99. Hold on, 99%. I can't fact check any of that at the moment, because that sounds kind of crazy. But if that's true, that's insane. And man, yeah, the credit card debt. I mean, a lot of people, right? You got to be careful with how you spend things. So that's crazy. But let's check out the next one.
Are $300 under what you need to survive? $300 under what you need to survive. Convention. I don't give a about a single convention. I don't care.
So, you want me to not go to this convention?
Oh, you
don't want me to go to this convention then? Like, just stop?
Yes.
Yeah?
Was that not clear?
Yeah, I guess so. I just won't go.
Good.
I mean,
not clear is insane.
But, yeah.
Where is it?
Dallas.
Okay, so it's where you live, essentially.
Yeah.
Pack a sandwich, put it in a cooler in your car, eat there, and you can go to the convention. Just don't spend money at the convention.
Okay. I'll make sure.
Okay, so that's what you meant.
I'll have my best friend. Don't hold my hand then. To not.
My brain was just on fire from that. You already spent the money. Just don't spend any more money. No new conventions. Don't spend money at the convention.
She must be spending crazy for him to say
response to
that.
living in California. I've lived here my whole life, and fun fact, I'm 7th generation Californian, so my family has lived here for like over 100 years. And we don't come from like a lot of money or anything. Living here, I feel like I've always been on like the lower end financially of my friend group. But I feel like depending on where you live, the cost of living in California is actually low because most of the stuff we do every day is free. When I was little, I would ask my parents like, why don't we go on as many trips as my friends? Why don't we get as many extravagant gifts as my friends? And they were like, we choose to live in California. We always have, and there comes like sacrifices with that. Like we don't travel as much. We always just went camping or on like little surf trips. And they were like, our daily life is so rich and so full of wonderful things that California has. Surfing, hiking, mountain biking, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
They were
Cali
that
for
cost
sure is
of living
expensive.
is more important to us than like traveling or having like a lot of nice things. And that's how me and my husband live here too. It's definitely a sacrifice, but has been so worth it for us.
Here's something for America.
Now that's respect, because she knows, how much, is coming in, how much needs to be spent in order to keep their, living style the same, right? Their lifestyle the same. And a lot of people don't have that awareness, right? Because, you get to a nice place like that, they encourage the spending too, but that awareness, it seems like she got brought up pretty nicely.
Americans. I understand the cost of living went up. I agree. I feel it too. Everybody does. However, if you bought a car for more than $10,000, if you own more than one streaming services, if you have a phone plan that is unnecessarily full of shit that you do not need. I'm saying this because I post tons of videos every single day and I have a simple $25 a month phone plan. If you prepare only 10 or less of your 21 weekly meals by yourself and delegate all the rest to third-party entities like fast foods or restaurants or whatever, you delegate coffee to a third-party entity instead of making it yourself. If you go out every single weekend, twice a week, and get destroyed by buying, let's say, drinks at bars. If you're a man and you think that to get women you have to spend tons of money, it's not about the cost of living, it's you. I understand that the cost of living went higher, and I'm pissed about it too.
Come on, that's a great point. I mean, he's calling some people out.
The moment you start understanding about gratitude, start realizing that you need much less to actually enjoy. Vacation for me when I was little was going to our grandparents at the beach, and that's it. For 3 months a year. It wasn't the large trips and everything. Somehow social media convinced you that if you don't go to Cabo every single year for 2 weeks, you're a piece of shit.
Don't listen to him.
I believe that society went downhill the moment I started seeing ads for loans to go on vacation. That's when I realized, damn, Americans are desperate to do shit. So desperate that they would incur debt for something that doesn't really improve their life. Does vacation really improve your life if you know that you're gonna have to pay that shit back with money that's right now you don't have?
I mean, he's making a good point, right? Because it's like, man, it's just gonna get you into that cycle even more of debt, and you don't have the money to pay. So I mean, man, he's talking about lifestyle and not inflating it and living within your means.
I'll be stressed about the vacation, the entire vacation. I wouldn't even vacation. Anyway, enjoy.
The cost of living is just out of control. I don't know how much longer I can do it. It's just insanity.
What's the matter? Too scared to work 168 hours at the factory?
Oh man.
Work at the factory, that's what I did. 168 hours a week. 55 years. That's how I paid this house off.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a house. It's a
That's
single
insane.
wide trailer, Dad.
Son, you don't know the first thing about struggle. Matter of fact, I got cigarettes on my front porch that are older than you. There were times when you were a little one that I was putting rocks and boiling water and mixing them together and calling it a soup so I could survive.
You weren't.
Why does it feels like that's how people speak to the younger generation too? And even, I mean, their prices of things, right, relatively, it's not the same, man. Hard to
rocks,
compare.
And you spent all our money gambling.
You don't understand. The gambling was to make a better life for you. I took what I earned at the factory and I put it all into gambling. It didn't work out.
Gambling never works out. That's just how it works. You always lose, pretty much.
Yeah, whatever. I think the real reason is your generation, nobody wants to work. No one wants to work at the factory like we did. Ain't nothing wrong with working at the factory.
Well, the thing now, Dad, is the factory is still paying the same wage in 2024,
Well, then work more hours. That's what I did.
Total that we need
Oh man.
is
I mean, that's true, right? The Literally, it's just the prices, right? It's definitely, maybe someone could do that and actually, you know, have a decent lifestyle. But nowadays, right, if you're working there, it's going to be really tight, especially depending where you live. You know, if you have a car note, things like that, it's going to be pretty tough.
58,989. So $58,000. So 59, round up. We need 59,000 without food. Include food in that, 64,000. Okay, just in case like this is over. Like we don't need actual 64,000. I always just add like $4 or $5 grand to food a year.
Yeah.
$64,000 a year to survive with food and everything. That is nuts. So no matter what, me and Hallie have to earn an income of that or more to survive, right?
Cost of living.
There's no way. I mean, clearly that explanation just showed you, right? It's like you're digging yourself in the hole because your lifestyle and expenses get so high, and then it's like you get to a point to where to maintain that level, you just have to work and work and work, and it's like, man, you're never gonna get out of that, right? And those people who can have the separation between the two have a different level of freedom that, you know, if you continue to do the lifestyle inflation, you really just don't have.
The United States has officially gotten to the most expensive number.
Okay, but are y'all okay out there? No, really, like, how are you guys still surviving in America? This is just another reason why I tell all Americans to leave that Titanic sinking ship. Because it's not going to get any better. You guys, I live in Bali now, and my monthly expenses do not exceed more than $1,000 per month.
Man, that's
and I'm
tough.
Out here living like a queen. I mean, like massages 2-3 times a week, organic foods, doing yoga, or going to the gym every single day. Take my advice and leave America. I honestly don't see it getting any better anytime soon. So instead of struggling there and having 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet, take your savings and go to a much affordable country.
I mean, that type of advice, right? I think it applies. It depends who you are, right? Because some people, if you have that type of freedom or you can make the move there, I mean, that's probably one of the quickest ways to even build wealth or at least make a lifestyle with some more freedom. But it's definitely not for everyone. I mean, if you have like kids or things like that, man, I think it'd be really tough for you to just get up and leave. And especially, right, you think the quality of education or just certain things here that you're not going to be able to get other places, but that would just be, you know, certain sacrifices that you would have to make for the maybe more freedom you get in one of these types of places.
There are countries in Latin America and Southeast Asia that are 1/10 of the price of the cost of living in the US. You can find a remote job. You can figure out all those expenses once you get to those countries where your dollar goes much farther. On top of
figuring out the expenses when you get there is insane. That's like, you know, you're just gonna move over there and figure it out. I mean, you gotta have a job and all that stuff. I mean, as long as you know you can cover it, then I mean, it seems like one of the quickest ways that you can switch things up.
Working almost every single day, getting no time off, getting treated not in a way I would prefer. I don't make enough money to survive. I make enough money to pay my bills and barely have anything left over.
Cost of living continues to rise. Wages are stagnant. This isn't rocket science. The blueprint to the American life and American dream 40, 50 years ago was sold much differently than it was now. Back in the day, wife, maybe a couple kids, house, car, one fucking job. Now, you can work a very prestigious corporate job and not even have anything left over.
The economy is no longer built on people growing wealth. It is now built on people just racking up as much debt as they possibly can.
The system is very broken.
Yeah, this music is
basic
loud.
necessities and just things of life that normally should not be so freaking difficult to happen, such as buying a house, are extremely difficult. And even people with a dual income household with pretty decent jobs cannot afford it.
Our generation went to high school, went to college with the promise that if you go to school, get a great paying job, and then one day you'll be able to have your own home, have your own family. We were essentially sold a scheme that is no longer working, with jobs that are not covering all of our bills, so we're getting second jobs on the weekend when we're supposed to be relaxing, unwinding from our corporate job.
Forcing myself to do this week after week after week is just getting unbearable.
I am at work and working more than I am with my own 2 boys, my own family, and that breaks my fucking heart because I feel like I'm blinking and they're just growing up and I'm like not a part of it. I feel like I'm not a part of their lives.
We are not meant to just pay bills and die and work our asses off until we're old and we don't have the energy to enjoy our life.
I have to spend every moment of my life focused on how much money I can make. They've raised the retirement age and want us to work until the day that we die during a time where living costs are outrageous. I just want some quality of life.
None of us are okay. I feel like we're all in a darker place mentally than we've ever been. Things are not getting better. It feels like the end of times, and yet we're forced to go to our 9-to-5, shrug our shoulders, and pretend like it's all fine. It's not fine.
Are we ever going to be in a position again, making enough money to survive, chasing after the American dream, owning a house with the ability to afford health care? But should people have to work hard with 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford a place to live, leaving no time for rest or the ability to spend time with loved ones? Seems like our situation is bad, and it only keeps getting worse.
And if you're feeling any kind of shame about your financial situation, if you are getting up, going to work every day, doing your best to put food on the table and put a roof over your family's head, then it's not your fault.
I mean, man, that's a tough one. Because, yeah, sure, people say it, and it's not your fault, but a lot of times it's your responsibility, right? Depending how you kind of set your life up in the lifestyle that you have. But yeah, I mean, the stress that people get with that type of stuff is
frustrating.
Crazy.
When you work so hard and you're just stuck in the same place, if not taking a step back, you contemplate your life choices.
A recent report came out telling us how much we need to make to live comfortably depending on which state we live in. And being able to live comfortably means 50% of our earnings goes towards necessities, 30% goes towards our wants, and 20% goes to savings and investments. Apparently, the most expensive state is Massachusetts at $116,000 per year, which is around $56 an hour. However,
that is not what I thought he would
say. The
say.
salary in Massachusetts is around $66,000 a year or $32 an hour. Hawaii is up next at around $113,000 a year, which is around $55 an hour. The average salary in Hawaii is around $53,000 a year or $25 an hour. Following closely behind that, California is at third at $113,000 a year. And in California, the average salary is around $62,000 a year or $30 an hour, so you're at least only $50,000 short of living comfortably. The 4th highest state is New York at $111,000 per year or $54 an hour. Surprisingly, in New York, the average salary is around $52,000 a year or $25 an hour. And in 5th, we have Washington at $106,000 a year or $51 an hour. And as you might expect, the average salary in Washington is lower, being at $58,000 a year or $28 an hour.
The economy is so bad.
I mean, it's crazy, man. It just shows you the difference in prices.
Have skyrocketed far above pre-lockdown levels. This is, of course, due to rents surging through the roof. In fact, in some cities, evictions are up as much as 35%. And this data is from Princeton University. Now get this equation. As rents went up by 30%, evictions went up by 30%. What a coincidence. It's not hard to see why this has happened. Many people were already pushed to the brink thanks to the surge in the cost of living. And once rents skyrocketed even more and more people were pushed over the edge. Also keep in mind that due to the constrained supply of affordable housing, in many markets, people are forced to rent more expensive apartments than they can actually comfortably afford. This does 2 things. First, it absolutely decimates their budgets. But second,
yeah,
it
financially you're done.
Any kind of price increase, which they may not be able to absorb. People being
price increase and then the stress is going to be crazy.
Their budget is also driving this trend. The surge in evictions is just one more sign that we are in recession. And remember, not just recession, but stagflation. As always, for more interesting and informative stories on tech, business, the economy, and
that's crazy.
Like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel here and on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, because especially if you know the prices go up and then you have to live in this area to work that position, right? Yeah, once prices kind of go up, you're going to be in trouble if you don't have it.
It's no longer about the cost of living. It's officially become the cost of survival. I can't even put the air conditioner on at a time like this because it's using petrol. I'm literally looking at my petrol tank and I'm watching the fuel go down. So people can say, yeah, but get like a larger car and fuel. Bitch, I did. It's supposed to be the middle of winter. It's like 23 degrees. Like the sun is like, Gunjani. I put $1,300 in my tank the other day and you know where it's gone? Nowhere slowly. Why are we even still on 95 unleaded? Should have it not be 2022 unleaded? Because we've come a long way since 95, so can we please go with the program? I mean, honestly, it's like putting an iPhone 6 in your car. It's like, it works, but, you know, it's not the best. 47 rand for lemon creams. Are you just? I can't even go to the gym anymore, because why? The only thing I'm cutting is my expenses. Thank you.
Yikes.
And then Eskom comes along, they're like, how's it?
I don't know, man. Cutting the gym, I mean, yeah, you could work out other ways, but definitely working out is probably one of the biggest ROI things you could do.
Yeah, Eskom, yeah, thanks. Yeah, look, we know you're dealing with a lot, inflation, corruption, everything, but we're also just going to complicate it furthermore by taking away your power. We're going to make sure it's during the prime time so that you really suffer and that the economy gets strapped even further. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in going off the grid altogether, we are going to probably introduce a 938 rand levy per month to solar powered users, because that means that Eskom's going to lose out on even more money that they can fold into their pockets. So it's a huge crisis for us. Exposed. Why don't you just tax us for the air that we breathe? Tax us for looking at the moon at night, because that's the only fucking light that's on. I mean, honestly, eat me alive.
We are going to now implement a moon levy.
Keep going. I mean, the price of margarine. Can I just tell you something? It's only the beginning.
Man, that was tough.
Minimum wage should be at least $20 an hour. Let's do some basic math. $20 an hour at 40 hours a week. That's $800. Let's say they take out of your check $160. Yeah, let's say like roughly about 20% between like your taxes and if you have insurance. That leaves you with $640. Let's multiply that by 4. That's $2,560. The average person right now
it's not looking like much.
From $1,000 to $1,600. Some people pay more in rent. You still have to pay your light bill. If you have cable, you got to pay your cable bill. If you have insurance on your car, cell phone bill, and then if you have any debt. Oh, and let's not forget groceries, because you got to eat, and your gas money. At $20 an hour, it's barely enough. People should not be forced to have a roommate to survive.
I see the people on this app that are like,
yeah, that one's tough, because yeah, you think I'm not sure exactly what the minimum wage is now, but I mean, yeah, especially with rent being a lot of times easy 1,000. I mean, yeah, if you're making minimum wage, that's super tight. And if you have debt, I mean, you know, school debt or anything like that, it's rough.
if you want to be successful, you need at least 5 sources of income. Bro, I just want to live. I just want to live. I don't even know if I want to do that. No, I'm joking. But
hold on,
it's crazy that a house used to be able to live off of one income. Used to be able to feed the kids, pay the bills, and even go on vacation sometimes off of one income. And now that's a pipe dream. Now it takes 2 parents working 40 hours a week each, and that's just to pay off this month's bills. That's not even next month's bills. Also, keep in mind, it takes most people 30 years to pay off a house. A thing we need to live. 30 years. Please don't explain to me how the system works. I understand. But I'm asking, is this how we really want to do this? There are certainly other ways to do this. Ones that haven't even been invented yet, that we haven't even thought of. But we're just sticking with this, I guess. I don't think humans are this dumb. I think we're starting to realize that maybe this isn't the way we should be doing things. And I think we're going to figure something out soon, and a big change is going to happen. It's important I add this, though. Our expectations of life have gone larger. Most houses back then only had one car, one family car, 1 to 2, and the whole family used it. Nowadays, there's a car per family member, it seems like. Also, rooms. Kids always shared rooms back then. The houses were much, much smaller. But nowadays, most likely every kid has their own room, or at least you try to have that. Houses had one phone. They weren't paying a Wi-Fi bill or anything, or subscriptions or anything like that. And most houses didn't even have TV. And if they did have TV, they only had one, and everyone had to share it. However, there are 3 key factors to society that have gone up at insane rates over the past 50 years. And that is land, education, and healthcare. The prices of these things have been going up at an insane rate. And
300 to 600%.
See, the issue kind of loops together here because, you know, we all have phones and we all have cars. They cost a lot, but they're almost essential to making money and living nowadays. Especially if you live in the suburbs, you can't really walk or ride your bike. Sometimes there's not even sidewalks because the places are dominated with roads that are made for cars. Not only this, phones, the internet, emails, websites, that's what all businesses run on now. And you got to be on it to work with it. So you need that. And it's also unrealistic to have one family share a car because we all got to go to work. We can't all be carpooling because we work at different times. And
Yeah,
all
that
this
one's
stuff.
tough.
Like,
Different schedules.
the families only had one car because only one parent really needed it all the time. It's tough, man. We're in a tough situation. And I don't know how we're gonna dig ourselves out of it, but I have hope. But man, it's tough.
I wish I could be proud to be Australian. Look, don't get me wrong, I am proud to be Australian. It is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. The people here are amazing. But with the rising house costs, the cost of living skyrocketing, and inflation fucking up everything, no one can live sustainable. I remember being a kid and 100 grand a year was like, you've fucking made it. You were living in a nice house on the water, had boats, jet skis, 100 grand a year. You can't even fucking make it by with that anymore. For example,
What? I mean, to me, I think that's still a pretty decent income, especially in the U.S. I mean, it might not go as far as what it used to, but I really wonder what it's like in Australia then.
today I was at Woolworths, and this poor lady, she would have been in her 30s, and she had 3 kids with her, and she was paying for $20 worth of food to feed her family with fucking 5-cent coins, sitting there counting them one by one. 5-cent coins. We're meant to be the fucking lucky country. Shit like that shouldn't be around. Shit like that shouldn't be happening. It's just beyond fucked. The cost of living has fucked up everything, and it's just slowly getting worse and worse. That's why the second I get a chance, I'm gonna make as much money as I fucking can online, and I'm gonna fuck off until shit sorts itself out. Because at the way it's going, we're all gonna be fucked.
How are people surviving nowadays? Everything is so goddamn expensive, from cars to food to the damn movie theaters. I must have went to go watch the new Hunger Games last night, and that shit was like $37 just for 2 tickets. I'm like, all right, the tickets are already gonna be cheap. Let me try to save some money and get some snacks from the store. Shit, that shit was like $25. Then I get to the movie theater,
$25 for some
popcorn, something
snacks.
to drink, and a hot dog. That shit came up to like $35.
All right, but you know, if you're going to the movie theater, the prices are going to be up. Like, you know that. You know you played yourself when you were doing that.
You're telling me it cost me about $100 just to go to the damn movies? Like, what happened to $5 movies and $25 on snacks? If you bought your ticket before, you can go in with a smooth dub and be cool. Not no more. This shit is outrageous.
Yeah, that's crazy, to be honest, man. But, man, if you like these type of reactions, man, like the video, subscribe to the channel, man, and hit the next reaction on the screen. You won't want to miss it.